Grahame Morris.
Thank you, Madam Deputy Speaker, and it is a pleasure to follow the honourable gentleman for Carmarthen East. A little earlier, one of the members from the government benches, the member for Redditch, I think it was, accused the Labour benches of being rather negative in sending out negative waves. Well, I've got some positive waves, but they are radiotherapy waves with some ideas. I'm delighted that we have a health minister on the Treasury bench. I'm sorry you couldn't join us for the debates a little earlier, because there were some really good suggestions as to how we can improve the service. But I was also disappointed that, despite numerous debates and questions on cancer strategy, the Chancellor didn't mention any further funding for advanced radiotherapy. But what he did say in the statement is that he agreed that the NHS would produce a 10-year plan setting out how the service will reform, how waste will be reduced, and exactly what the British people can expect to get. So, I want to declare an interest as someone who is a cancer survivor, was successfully treated with both chemotherapy and radiotherapy, and I'm also now one of the vice chairs of the all-party group on radiotherapy. And as someone who's benefited from radiotherapy, I'm not alone in that. About 1 in 4 people receive some form of radiotherapy during their lives, and almost half of us will be diagnosed with cancer in the UK at some point during our lifetime. So these stark facts, I hope, would remind the government of how important it is that we invest in modern and accessible cancer treatment. Delivering the recommendations set out in the cancer strategy is crucial to improving care and support for thousands of people affected by cancer. And I would like to say that, I like to participate in the knockabout and the political point scorings as much as anyone, as you probably know. But I'm not trying to make a party political point about the nature of this policy. I'm simply trying to emphasise it requires resources, a plan, a strategy and commitment. I've regularly raised advanced radiotherapy and its benefits and have advocated further investment in its research. Investment in research, given the cost, should be evidence-based, but there are some really very exciting areas. I did go and see the new proton beam therapy machine. I visited the Rutherford Cancer Centre in the constituency of my honourable friend, the member for Ashington in Northumberland, and I saw the installation of the proton beam therapy bunker and the advanced equipment there. I saw the stereotactive ablative body radiotherapy, adaptive radiotherapy based on advanced imaging, which is a form of magnetic resonance imaging combining a linear accelerator, combinations of radiotherapy and new drugs, biomarkers so that radiotherapy can precisely target cancer cells, and indeed molecular radiotherapy. I also recently visited the Electra facility in the constituency of the Honourable Member for Crawley, and I went in the company of fellow co-chair, the Honourable Member for Chichester, and alongside Professor Patricia Price from the Royal Marsden Hospital. And we saw these machines being built and developed, and really very, very impressive technology that's being developed here in the United Kingdom. So not only does SABRE treat cancers that conventional therapy can't, but the advanced nature of the treatment is such that patients need only be irradiated 4 or 5 times rather than have 20 sessions, as was the case with conventional radiotherapy. So it's not only more effective, it would save our cancer centres money, but more importantly, it can dramatically reduce the number of times patients are exposed to radiation while still destroying the cancer tumours. Although needed in over 50% of cases, access to radiotherapy in England is patchy, and it varies from 25% to 49% depending on the region, with the average being around 38%. Ideally, according to research by Cancer Research UK, patients should be able to access this form of treatment within 45 minutes. And a considerable investment is going to be needed in order to achieve that. Only 5% of the NHS cancer budget is spent on radiotherapy currently. That's 5% of the cancer budget, not the total NHS budget. So that's £383 million. More investment in access is needed. More investment is needed in modern radiotherapy because it will increase cancer survival. And I would, Madam Deputy Speaker, encourage all members of the House and the ministers to read the manifesto for radiotherapy, because it highlights the importance and the important benefits that increasing the percentage of spend on radiotherapy quite modestly from 5% of the cancer budget currently to 6.5% of the cancer budget would secure a world-class radiotherapy service. And let's not forget that one of the justifications for the huge health and social care reforms that were put forward from the government benches was that the poor cancer survival rates, and currently our cancer survival rates are the second worst in Europe. So there's a deal of work to do. So I would like to suggest that this is one area that could considerably benefit. Investment in radiotherapy not only enables treatments of large numbers of cancer cases to save lives, it gives better outcomes, but it also brings positive economic benefits. So I would commend it to the Minister and urge him to look at it as part of the cancer strategy. Yeah.